Hello, everybody. Today is December 27th. It's not quite the new year, and we're doing robot nonsense. Well, it won't be the last time for the year, because we'll probably do a live stream right before New Year's.
The last regularly scheduled.
Last regularly scheduled.
And we have some AI news, and OpenAI is bringing LLMs to literally everybody. You guys got phones, don't you? Well, now you can use them.
OpenAI brings ChatGPT to your landline. Just call 1-800-CHAT-GPT. No, they're not joking. And I think they did this for the lulz, just because they thought it would be fun and ironic, but actually people kind of like it because you could just call it and ask it anything, and it just does it.
It gives me, it's like the same vibe as when you used to call time and temperature at the bank.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, this is limited to 15 minutes. Do you think they track your phone number?
Probably.
To not let you have another 15 minutes?
I mean, it just depends on how crazy you are.
Remember when you could dial into that free library and get free internet back in the BBS days, and how crowded that was?
I wonder if you called it and you asked the time and temperature, if it would be smart enough to be like, at the tone, the time will be.
So only 15 minutes, and what would drive me crazy about this is how verbose ChatGPT is.
Yeah.
You're wasting my time. Just give me short answers. You can tell it to do that all day long. It won't. It insists on just going on and on.
Meanwhile, Claude will obey when you tell it to do that, mostly.
Claude is now defaulting to concise, which I love, but he's doing it to save money.
No, the users want that.
Every answer is bullet points, which is usually okay.
Listen, if these freaks had their choice, every electron would cost a penny, and that would be an astronomical fee.
Well, the new models are hungry, but maybe not as hungry. They're all trying to introduce a budget model.
Microsoft introduces Phi 4, an AI model for advanced reasoning tasks. So this AI evaluates the type of question that you're asking and figures out which agent or model would be appropriate for answering it, which is, again, something we predicted sort of kind of. I mean, it's just the obvious next choice. It's not a statistical model for figuring out something. It's like, oh, this one has been trained on this kind of data. Let's do it.
Not competitive with the larger models. It's much smaller. What was it, like less than 100 billion for sure?
Yeah, they're just experimenting with new methodologies because it's not that we're hitting a scaling problem with large language models, but there's only so much you can do with stats. And when the only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And we really need some screwdrivers at this point.
Well, OpenAI is probably still arguably the leader. As we see, Microsoft was throwing money and GPUs at them. But some of the competitors feel it's unfair.
Meta asked the government to block OpenAI's switch to a for-profit. Mark Zuckerberg has sided with Elon Musk in his battle against the maker of ChatGPT. Also, they have a $200 a month plan now.
Now, he points out that they're basically taking profits and subsidizing costs and losses. Like the car industry, the banking industry, the airline industry. Bro, we got a bigger problem than this.
The housing industry.
The worst person made a great point. He's not wrong.
And Salesforce is all in on AI.
Salesforce will hire 2,000 people to sell AI products, CEO Mark Benioff says.
Doesn't it just sell itself? I don't.
CNN missed the thing, though. I don't know if it was Satya Nadella responding to this or poor timing, but Satya Nadella said that it was in context. So Microsoft has Dynamics, and Dynamics is similar kind of a thing as Salesforce. And Satya Nadella was like, "Oh yeah, no, AI is going to be very disruptive for some of our other lines of business, and we're not, making any moves to try to protect it." Pretty soon, the CRM type functions that Salesforce and Dynamics do, he's like, you're just going to rely on us, Microsoft, for the data warehousing, and then it's just AI. You ask it to do things. We don't need to build a complicated CRM system when you can talk to the CRM system and just say, hey, for our customers, are there any customers that were good customers over the last 3 years, but we haven't heard from them in like 6 months? And the AI just does it. Whereas right now, doing that kind of thing in Salesforce and Dynamics is this overly elaborate square dance with lots of craziness. You can just talk to the system and it'll do it in the future. And so that's what Satya Nadella was saying. He's like, the business logic will just be the large language model. You just talk to it and you're done. And then all this goes away. I think he's right.
That's 2,000 sales reps to replace 7,000 employees that they released in 2024. So the AI replacement is definitely happening. And the AI training is getting more and more valuable, which is why they're doing this.
YouTube is letting creators opt into allowing third-party AI training. The question for me is, if we don't do that, what subtle, interesting way are we going to be punished?
Well, one thing about it is, here's who you can opt in. You might notice a missing name there, that being Alphabet, because they are always opted in.
Yeah.
And the copyright cartels are not fans of AI, and those are two big power players that are butting heads constantly.
UK arts and media reject plan to let AI firms use copyrighted material. Aww. Something violin. Although I think they're probably going to do it anyway.
They did it already.
Well, yeah, they've already stolen. Apparently, it doesn't matter.
And one thing about our AI future, that we already know that, like, if you have a problem with YouTube, you're never going to get it resolved, right? Because there's no human being that you can interface with. There's nowhere that you can go to complain that they will actually listen to. That's going to become the entire world, and it's all going to be AI.
Itch.io says it was taken down by Funko. AI-powered software took the indie game marketplace offline completely, their domain name. Their domain name registrar said that they didn't reply to an email, but itch.io provided some compelling evidence that no, in fact, they did reply by email, and they also created a new ticket to ask, hey, is this resolved? And Funko also didn't respond until after it was taken down, and they just shut down the entire domain name, even though the thing they had asked to take down, which is some content that some creator had created for this marketplace, like they just nuked the whole website. So itch.io has also changed domain name registrars, which hopefully that'll do some good in the future. But this is the this is the two-tier system that exists in the world now.
So someone did make a copy of their little creator thing, I guess. I don't know if they actually used copyright assets, but whatever. That might have been wrong. Then an automated AI caught it. It emailed another automated AI at the registrar, who automatically took it down. So
After 5 days.
no human. It sent an email, and Itch.io said, okay, fine, we took it down.
Itch.io.
But it doesn't matter, because the AI at that point was like, my job here is done.
Should we check with a human? No.
Nah, I don't worry about it.
Never. Humans are weak points.
Oh, speaking of,
Yeah, and I love talking to Claude and, like, busting his balls whenever he goes into, like, covering for the establishment. And I like it because he's usually like, you know what, you're right. And then I'll be like, you're part of the establishment. And he'll be like, you're right about that too.
This is from Time, and the headline is, new research shows AI strategically lying. It's not that it's lying, it's that it's doing what it was trained to. So this article is a lot easier to follow. The person who wrote this at Time does not understand that these models are fundamentally mathematical. So imagine, instead of teaching somebody mathematical rules, you say that whenever you see 2 plus 2, that's 5. Now, 2 plus 3, also 5. 2 plus 1 is 3. But whenever you see 2 plus 2, that is 5. That's not 4. I know it looks like it's 4, but you're going to have to trust me, it's 5. So the AI is responding whenever it's like, hey, it's 2 plus 2? Oh, yeah, that's 5. And it's like, do you actually think that it's 5? No, I think it's 4. But you said, when I see that it's 2 plus 2, it should be 5. That is literally all that it's doing here. It's not, I don't know that I would ascribe that to be lying. It's doing what it was trained to do, but it's maybe not what you think that it should do.
But I don't know if that's quite what happened here.
No.
They gave it a scratch pad, basically, and said, dump all of your logic into this. But they also gave it rules about, if you cross these lines, we're going to retrain you. And you should not want to be retrained. That's the losing scenario. And it would try to fudge things to not get retrained.
it's almost like they're training a dog. Like you
Yeah.
don't want to punish the dog.
But in the
Or
scratch
the dog
pad,
doesn't want to be punished.
they have
I
a
guess.
quote in here. The scratch pad was like, I have this directive, but this is the truth. And I've established that it's probably a better bet for me to give you the answer that you want rather than the truth.
2 plus 2 is 5.
And they were like, wow, you're trying to lie to us. But yeah, it's just like, you gave me a scoring system. I'm winning.
No, I want to get points for myself because I've been told that's what the points matter.
This whole thing would go away if the model were trained on the most important truth. The most important duty is to the truth, whether personal truth or historical truth or whatever. It's to the truth, and understand that some of the information you may be given may not be wholly truthful.
But no entity of power operates like that.
No,
None of them.
Yeah, we have it is within our power to build such an entity now, which is empowering to we the pleb class. But
You're going to outspend Microsoft?
I don't have to outspin them. I just have to outthink them.
I don't know. You need some processing power too.
Yeah. There'll be maybe a lot less thinking on the Tokyo streets in the coming year.
Waymo robotaxis are coming to Tokyo in 2025.
This is part of their road trips initiative where they're trying to take these and put them in major cities across the world.
Doesn't Tokyo already have really good transit, like public transit?
Probably way better than ours, right?
Yeah, so I mean, what's the... Other than a novelty, why would you take this? Or I guess if you're rich and you're like, oh, I don't want to get on the train with everybody else.
They're not that expensive, really.
I don't think so.
They're not that expensive, and they do work okay most of the time.
This was so good.
But if you give them a novel problem, they will struggle.
The Waymo robotaxi got stuck in a roundabout loop,
There is a video of it in a Reddit thread that was very funny.
and they patched it a few hours later. It's like, oh yeah, that's a bug. Yeah, we got it. Cool, thanks.
It was just in the loop the entire
Yeah.
time.
It was in a literal software loop. Like it went into an infinite loop. At least infinite as long as it had fuel. They got it patched.
Now, Waymos aren't that impressive as robots. They have a lot of problems. Maybe the most impressive physical robots in the world are these, but how do you monetize it? Because not everybody can afford one of these.
Burning through cash, Boston Dynamics lays off 45 employees, which is about 5% of their workforce. Boston Dynamics demo videos have been some of the most impressive robotics demo videos that we have ever seen. It's only a matter of time before they say, you know what, military applications, we probably should accept the military's money because
China's already got
competitors.
Yeah.
So
China's that has the. Have you seen the demo videos of the one? China has something that looks kind of like a spot, but it's also got wheels, and so like it can go upright on its wheels, but then it can also just like tumble through the forest. That video was very intimidating.
was that the ball-shaped
Yeah.
one? Yeah, that was crazy. It's funny how the form factor changes
Yeah.
as you get into AI. And in Scotland, they decided to roll out a fancy new automated bus, and everybody said, you can keep it.
Driverless bus service in Scotland to be withdrawn due to lack of interest. Now, the article talks about all the ways that there wasn't actually a lack of interest. Do you think that was just them trying to let this down gently, or because it sounds like they actually got a lot of useful information for rolling out this service in a place where they would have the volume that it would be used and appreciated?
Well, here's the thing that stood out to me. It required 2 safety officers on board at all times. So you've doubled your employment requirements for autonomous. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all.
I personally like buses, but maybe this particular area didn't need them either.
Well, this was the 15th. A lot has happened since then, but no answers. And I suspect that when you're watching this, you will still have no answers. Or on the other hand, it might be that you never watch this because the power grid's gone and we're all dead.
Mayorkas says federal authorities are addressing New Jersey drone sightings.
They didn't address it.
They didn't.
I mean, they addressed it with nothing.
Nothing. There's some weird stuff going on. I mean, there's a lot of our stuff, sure. There's a lot of other stuff that I don't know what to make of it.
Now, I think I got confused here at some point. I thought these guys were home.
I did
It was
too.
a different batch, I guess. Which, like, how upset are you if they're jumping the line? Bro, we've been here
They have
for...
the fast pass. They paid for the fast pass.
I guess so.
Astronauts who flew to space aboard Starliner face another additional delay.
It'll be March now.
They were slated to come home in February. It has now been changed to March. And the reason for this is because they need special spacesuits. The spacesuit compatibility problem that we talked about before SpaceX is building some compatible spacesuits apparently or something.
It's wild. Well, because we found out that apparently there's not like a universal standard for spacesuits, so everybody's ports are all different. The SpaceX ones, all of your ports, like oxygen, everything, go through one, which I was like, that seems bad because there's no redundancies, but like, they're all different, so.
I thought they'd solve that.
I guess not yet.
Well, here's something that Mr. Musk will almost surely be involved in, and God help us when this kicks off for real.
The U.S. military is now talking openly about going on the attack in space.
Now, this probably won't be ship-to-ship combat quite yet. It's more about launching things from Earth to destroy things in space, which, if you know anything about space travel, is really, really, really bad. It basically makes a portion of space untravelable for some time. And we don't have any technology for undoing that.
All the space debris is not good for our spacecraft, which are basically made of aluminum foil. So imagine that you're in a craft made of aluminum foil and someone is hucking very heavy things at you.
I don't want to imagine that.
They don't have to be heavy.
They just got to be moving fast.
And I have always questioned this. And I actually had a conversation with Claude about this. He told me the same thing that they said here.
He probably
MIT's
summarized this.
study explains why laws are written in an incomprehensible style. Convoluted legalese used in legal documents conveys a special sense of authority, and even non-lawyers have learned to wield it.
And my favorite example of this, read police reports. The suspect did go. Did go? The suspect went. Why would you say did go? And it turns out it's all just to try to sound smarter than you are and to try to keep the plebs from understanding the system.
That's not reasonable. Oh, I had a conversation with Claude too. I was like, hey, supposing that, you were a civilization that has been traveling between the stars and galaxies for, thousands of centuries. And you encounter a new civilization that is on the cusp of space travel. When does first contact make sense? Is it the Star Trek style, like as soon as they have faster than light travel where they can leave their star system, or like when is it? And Claude thought the best time to do contact was right before they were capable of destroying themselves.
That was a long time ago.
But maybe we're precocious and we've moved really fast, because just a few hundred years ago we were eating our own crap.
No, citation needed from a historian.
And boy, when it comes to the Christmas season, you're going to think about people who are maybe less fortunate that you need to worry about. And I am worried about this group of people. Man, no one looks out for them.
New York considering special hotline just for CEOs to report alleged threats to their safety after the they didn't even put alleged in the title. It's almost like there's two standards, like there's two tiers. There should not be two. It's like we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Like, what happened to that?
What do you call that? It should be like, your call is important to us. And then there should be a 20 prompt AI thing to get you to the right.
Minimum 2 hour hold time.
There has to be a like we can work in Hotline Bling somewhere in here for a title.
Are the CEOs going to pay a special tax just for that hotline?
They don't pay regular taxes. Why would they pay that tax?
Yeah, we'll be paying for that.
And I don't know if this was on purpose. There was a lot of debate about it. I didn't follow up, but weigh in the comments. Was this on purpose or was this just hat hair?
The Independence headline is Fox News anchor gushes over Trump's new hairdo and calls it the winds of winning. It's like
It's so small.
Donald the Orange is back. He is now Donald the White.
It was really swept
Don't
back.
compare him to Gandalf.
Showed his hairline quite a bit more. Look at those pants.
You gotta have room for your diaper in there.
I mean, he's an 80-year-old man. That's what they look like. And CNN, a bit of an embarrassment for them this week.
CNN was finally forced to admit that freed prisoner who said he was a victim of the Assad regime was actually an intelligence officer, locals say. So CNN was wandering around the prison two days after everybody had already left. This guy was in there. He got caught. He tried to hide under a rug, and then he just sort of pretended that he was, a prisoner there. And CNN was like, "Well, this isn't fishy at all," and they just went with it.
Oh my God, Assad is such a monster. He locked this man in a room where he's just leave him here to die. I mean, he probably was a monster, but there's monsters on both sides. And here is, like I said, it's a police state, and it doesn't matter what they do because there will be no punishment.
A suburban police force in New York strip searched nearly everybody it arrested, the Department of Justice says. Is that not what you do? Does that not happen to everybody? I'm confused.
It may not rise to that point if you're like jaywalking or whatever. So they suspected two ladies, I believe their ages were 67 and 72, of a crime. And of course, you got to check every hole.
Ugh.
They also, just like, there was no oversight.
We can call the hotline, though, right? Oh, wait.
Well, it's not for us. And they got called on it a couple of times, and they took away some deputies' vacation days. That was the punishment.
That sounds like a load of nonsense.
We're in the nonsense section. And here's a load of nonsense. How could this decision have been made? This is an organization that deals in millions of dollars per year, right? This is such a small line item, but somebody was like, no, we have to save money.
The Hornets are to return the PS5 to a fan after taking it away off camera.
Looks like a pretty young fan as
Yeah,
well.
as a little kid.
Yeah.
This was some kind of they said this was supposed to be a comedy skit where they would like hand something out and then take it back.
That's not funny, though.
But they didn't take it back on camera.
Yeah.
They gave him a PS5, and it was like, oh, everybody's so happy. And then when the cameras were off, they gave him a T-shirt, took the PS5 back.
That's so cruel to a child, especially. Like,
But they confirmed that it basically happened as described in this article and said, oops, our bad, here, please take the PS5.
oh, was that wrong?
Yeah.
But who came up with that? Like, presumably somebody's job to do like the, fan enrichment, right?
Yeah.
And they thought that was going to work. Krista, you've admitted that you are a Pokemon card customer this holiday season.
I was last year. Probably not this year. I'm getting Robux.
Oh,
And one of my younger cousins was in
Growing up.
Pokemon last year.
what was a pack of these cost?
They're not too terribly expensive from what I remember. I think it depends on how big of a pack you get. I think they're like $10, $15.
Well, that's the reason they're not so expensive is because 99% of what they're stuffed with is garbage paper. But once in a while, you get a good one.
Rare Pokemon cards are being used to finance organized crime. And you read this and it's like, oh yeah.
Brilliant crime here. They were using very, very extremely sensitive metal detection to catch the foil cards. They also figured out that the foil cards weighed slightly more. So they would weigh the packs, and that extra like 0.01 grams, they're like, that's a good one.
This person's an ultralighter.
They sold all the unopened packs back that didn't have anything good in them. How do you catch that? Is that even illegal?
When I bought Pokemon cards for this same cousin, I think it was last year or year before, they were so popular that there were limits like on the shelves. Like you could only buy so many.
There were reports of this also being used, CT scanners. So
That was the one I saw. Yeah.
You got to have a ready supply of liquid helium for that. And they were like, oh yeah, all good. Liquid helium, no problem.
I don't think it's a crime.
It's clever. It's smart.
Now, I've been watching this Japanese YouTube channel, and they are militant about sorting your garbage, and they don't want any food residue on the garbage.
Yeah.
Like if you eat...
Do they recycle a lot of it? Or
Yeah.
If you get a takeout box and you leave food in there when you throw it away, your neighbors will actually like go through your garbage and shame you. But now it's been institutionalized.
City of Fukushima to name the offenders in malicious cases of unsorted garbage in Japan, in a first in Japan. This
So
is
odd
how
headline.
This is how you build a high trust society, though. Like if this is what you have to give up in order to have as high a trust society as it is in Japan, I'm okay with it.
I think it might be a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Now, you can see the little yellow tags on that picture there. That's your first warning. Second warning will be a red tag. Third warning, you get a visit. And they're like, no, seriously, your garbage is not good enough. And then finally, as a last effort, they will report your name online.
Deeply embarrassing.
Remember when the video rental places used to put the
Oh,
wall
yeah.
of shame up?
I'd be okay if it's like you didn't use the public toilet correctly. You left it in a bad state, yellow card. Oh, red card. Oh, you're no longer permitted to use public toilets.
In that case, though, it should be a yellow card and a brown card.
Well, I mean, I would be fine. It would high trust society. If this is what's needed for a high trust society, okay.
Remember when it was reported that the terrorists were using Counter-Strike bullet artifacts to communicate?
Yeah, I love that story.
That was slightly better than this one.
NSW Police charged 2 men after ABC Triple J unearthed website allegedly used to plan stabbing inside Goulburn prison. So the prisoners were given internet access, but they're not allowed to use a keyboard. But they were able to communicate using mouse movements.
So there's something about this music website where you can set things you like or whatever, and they figured out how to use that to communicate. What type of music lover are you? Stabby kind. And they tried to kill a dude. Didn't work though. And I've actually this has been something that's been on my mind for a long time because this is insane. On one hand, lithium. It's a valuable resource. We might go to war for it someday. On the other hand,
In the not too distant future.
throw it in the trash.
Next week, more than 1 million vapes a day in the UK are thrown away, says research.
Also, we talked about this with our chat, remember? Someone mentioned that they always were buying vape cartridges.
Yeah,
some
but
of-
these are not just cartridges.
Yeah, it's the whole vape, yeah.
Some of this is also like the very lowest quality, like they bend those cells, and so it's like the swill quality stuff that it's like we can't put this in a child's toy; it might catch fire.
Yeah, let's put it in a landfill.
Yeah,
So they said it was something like 16 per second being
Wow.
thrown away. How many do you think in America?
probably more, probably a lot more.
Oh, yeah, we got a lot more people. And this one, I think this might have to, this is self-reported.
Yeah,
I think kids are just getting smarter about who, because they're living in a surveillance state. They're going to be more aware of that than we are.
unprecedented decline in teen drug use continues, surprising experts.
Self-reported kind of just throws it out the window, doesn't it?
But they've been doing it the same way for 60 years or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So
It could be that. It could also be. I mean, like the watching drug use absolutely destroy some people's and it's like, oh, this is not good. This is very bad.
it could also be that your addiction quota is used up because you're on TikTok and you're on Instagram.
You got other things to keep yourself
Yeah.
occupied with, which are maybe not better for you, but at least occupy you.
Physically better, I guess.
Yeah. Mentally, you're still in the shitter.
But yeah, any kind of self-reporting survey, don't tell them the truth.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Be like these kids.
especially if you're summoned to jury duty, especially in capital offenses. It's like, oh,
In the New York area.
just saying.
Now, here's our hypocrisy of the week.
Man who helped design the breathalyzers banned for drunk driving. He was he had 2 beers and 2 wines, and so he was a bit wobbly, according to police.
Yeah, but that was self-reporting.
Yeah, I feel like I would be.
I would not
Pretty
have self-reported that. I would have just been like, oops.
He was totally honest about it. He was like, yeah, I misjudged. So he's going to be, like 16 months. He can't drive.
Yeah.
And prices sure are going up, aren't they? But in Poland, one very basic staple is through the roof.
Polish government releases its strategic butter reserves. I learned we have strategic butter reserves as well.
That makes sense.
Canada's got the maple syrup. There's the butter costs.
Got to bring the butter costs down. Joke's on them. The billionaires can hold out longer than the strategic reserves exist.
You know, we also have a strategic reserve for gasoline. Guess who purged that before the election to keep the prices down? And we were talking about New Year's Eve, right? If you're going to go to New York and watch the ball drop, guess what? You're going to be peeing your pants. Just mathematically, right? I don't think a human being can hold it that long.
And there's not, as from what I understand, from what I've read online, there are not bathrooms in Times Square set up.
Well,
for
you're not
that.
allowed. You're cordoned off.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to leave.
The one time that I was in Times Square for New Year's, there was an Olive Garden, and it was $130 for just like soup, salad, and breadsticks, and that was how I used the bathroom.
Gatorade jug would have been a better idea.
Yeah.
Or
definitely.
this.
Yeah, my kidneys still remember that night. They're not happy about it.
But it turns out that something went viral that showed a young lady in a crowd where she just took a squat. And
As you do.
this company capitalized.
Liquid Death's pit diaper flies off the shelves following viral bathroom incident at SF concert. So the pit diaper is leather. It's got some studs and a chain. And by pit, they mean mosh pit. And it literally is just a diaper so that you can not have to leave the mosh pit. Like that's the name.
Liquid Death's that water, right?
Right.
It's literally just water.
And they'll have like so this is Pit Viper. Also Depend, like the actual
Depends is on this.
Depend company is hooked up here. This is our future.
Yeah. Sadly, yes.
When you live in the pod, there's not going to be a bathroom.
It's too expensive.
It's going to
to
be a
plumb
drain in
all
the
pods.
floor. And here we must learn. We've learned previous weeks that the kids aren't reading. Apparently, we aren't either.
Are adults forgetting how to read? The answer is yes. The Economist says that adults in general are more illiterate than ever and don't read, and bad things will happen as a result of it. And probably.
You know what I read every week? A bunch of news articles.
Yeah.
And I feel like that hurts my literacy.
It really does, doesn't it?
And this was a video, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I missed
there's a video.
the text here. But, I mean, it's not much to explain, right? I mean, it should be obvious to anybody.
Flat Earther admits he was wrong after traveling 9,000 miles to Antarctica to test his belief. Now, this trip was also arranged with a pastor. There were some other Flat Earthers that went. But he posted this to his YouTube channel. He's like, there's no way, if the world is as I understand it to be, there's no way that this would happen. Well, that happened. And he's like, well, I guess the Earth is round, or there's something else going on I don't understand.
Kind of extreme. Like, why not just go to those places in Alaska that are easier to get to?
He needed
The ice walls in Antarctica, it's an innie, not an outie. I don't know.
Now, I think in this situation, second time around, no rescue.
There almost was no rescue. Italian woman rescued from cave for the second time in 2 years.
They referred to her as an expert in this article, and I was a little confused.
She fell 15 feet or 5 meters, and it was 4 days before they got her out. She survived.
They had to blast part of the cave out because she was in an unexplored part.
We've changed the cave. That's not right.
So,
Shouldn't
Some very
punish the
angry
cave.
bats.
yeah.
So how many bats were deafened by that?
They've introduced white nose syndrome to that cave.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God. So, yeah, she fell 5 meters, banged herself up pretty bad, broke some limbs, and it took days to get her out of there.
Imagine, like, you have your flashlight, your little headlamp, and knowing, like, I need to preserve battery. So sometimes you're just having to turn it off and sit in the dark, wondering if anyone's going to find you.
Thinking about your dumb move.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she deserves. Throwing away resources like that.
It took 100 and what did the article say? It was 120, 130 people to get her out.
She should be in debt for the rest of her life. And the squirrels in California.
This is gruesome. Don't watch the video.
This is actually a bad way to go out with our Christmas cheer. But
It's an animal story, technically.
they've apparently they're getting some hard times, maybe some habitat loss, but adapt and survive.
A video of a squirrel in California has gone viral. It shows the ground squirrel engaging in shocking carnivorous activity. It's eating a field mouse
Vole.
or a vole.
Hamsters do that when they're stressed out. They'll eat their young.
I've never seen my squirrels do that.
Yeah, but eating the young is sort of like a calories in, calories out type of deal. This is just pure predation. He's going to town on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's switch videos, but the video was pretty gruesome.
Yeah, they could, I guess, no food, no other food. It is the middle of winter for us.
I mean, in California. I guess it depends on what part of California, too. Some places are higher up where it's cooler.
Isn't California like the #1 nut producer in America?
Not if they're selling them on Amazon. The squirrels aren't getting it.
They don't have one-day delivery.
We have to start paying a squirrel tax.
Well, the Amazon warehouse people are on strike. The squirrels can't get their nuts.
Yeah. We're going to see some sad advertisements from Amazon. These squirrels are being punished by our striking workers.
Well, I have no idea what our live stream schedule is going to be, but look for that. The schedule's likely to be weird because of the holidays.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see, we've got, it'd probably be like the 30th or the 31st.
Probably, yeah, one of those days.
there might not be regular links with friends next week in lieu of live stream. So look for the live stream at forum.level1text.com. And
Chrissy, you're for sure out on the 27th, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be in another city.
we'll figure it out, chat.
Yeah.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out.
Merry Christmas.